name's Morgan. This is my shop, Slickside Repair. And this is my Jeep. It's a 1957 DJ3A. The D stood for dispatch Jeep. Near as I can tell, these came as a two-wheel drive Jeep with a 3 on the tree instead of the 3-speed on the floor. I think this one's been swapped onto a 4-wheel drive chassis at some point in time. There was evidence of the 3 on the tree on the column when I tore it apart, and nothing else other than that. But it's kind of a pain to find parts for, because it's right in there where it should be I get parts for a 3A and a 3B. The 3B had the real tall hood on it because it had the overhead valve engine. This one's got a flathead in it, but just weird stuff's hard to find. E-brake cable, e-brake handle, wiring harness, stuff like that. But that leads me to my next point. What is the point of this Jeep? Well, basically it's been a joke for all my buddies for years and years, because every shop I've been in, it's sat in the corner of that shop and hardly ever gets worked on. The whole inside of the thing is filled with parts that I bought over time, and I don't work on it very often. But I just had a Mahindra in here, actually a Mahindra Roxor, and I put an oil pan on it for a guy, and it got me excited to work on this Jeep again. So that's what I need to do. I'll turn you guys around here and we'll kind of look it over, and I'll let you know what my plan of attack is. Okay, here's the power plant. Just an old flathead. I've actually had this engine pulled out, had a guy over in Box Elder rebuild it for me. It runs very good. I put a new clutch in it when I had that out. Put this aluminum radiator in here. I don't remember why I did that. I think it had something to do with not being able to find the right one, or it was way cheaper to go with the aluminum one. But the powertrain is all basically ready. I should go through the brakes at some point, but they do work the way they are, so I don't think I'll mess with them right away. My plan is to get this thing running and driving, and then just start working the kinks out as I go. I would really like to be able to use this thing and run into town and get parts with it and just use it around here. My wife really would like to be able to drive it around, because it is fun to drive, but I just never have really been able to drive it. When I traded my dad out of this, I got it running years and years ago, but it smoked bad and it burned coolant. No, it didn't burn coolant, but it leaked it, and it had a crack right below the distributor on the block. Well, 3 blocks later, I finally found this one that wasn't cracked and it was rebuildable. Put an electronic ignition distributor in it, and a 1-wire Chevy alternator. But I just took these doors off. I still have them. They slide back and forth here. They're in rough shape. The whole body's in fairly rough shape, but it's all there, which is awesome. So I don't even really care that it's kind of this patina color and it's got primer on the bottom from when I welded a floor pan in it a long time ago. Like, none of that actually even really bothers me. I would just like to be able to bomb this thing around. So today, we're gonna pull this cab off of here, and for several reasons. One of the main ones being that I'm kind of a big guy, and I haven't put seats in here yet because I want to notch these fender wells so I can slide my seat back farther when I do get some and mount them in here. So I want the cab off for that. And then I've got a wiring harness that I had bought. I think it was through Wax, and I need to get it installed. The one on the chassis is on there already. I did that when I had the whole body off a while back. So it's running back to the tail lights. And it seemed to me like I had it stubbed up under here somewhere. I don't remember. But you can see the old wiring harness going up to the headlights. I got to get rid of that. Yeah, I don't see that other one. I do see, yeah, there is, I think, maybe the horn wire that's coming up from it. But I had the gearbox out of there, the steering gear, and I rebuilt it, and it's nice and tight. I did shocks, steering dampener. I rebuilt the, I can't remember what the name of this wishbone is. Bell crank, I think, yeah. I rebuilt the bushings on it. So it's getting real close to being able to drive this thing around. And that's what I want to do. You can see there's a hole in the hood here. And there's this great big bump up on top of it. And it's like, what the heck do they got going on there? Well, years ago, my dad got a hold of an overhead valve engine. And it bolted in here, if I remember right. But I believe the carburetor sits real high. And he had to put this on here so the carburetor, like the air cleaner, would stick up in there. And this is, oh, it's how they did it back then, I guess, but it's fairly hillbilly. But it's honestly, it's not the only one I've seen done like that. I've seen a couple of them, but I like the way this hood looks, and I don't want to put a new hood on here and then it sticks out. So I'm either going to leave that on there, probably for right now I will, but eventually I'm going to cut that off there and fill that hole in. And then you can see that they had braces bolted on here. They were wood. I think that was my dad's doing. But I'm going to bolt something back on there. And I think it was probably because of the way the hood warped when that was welded on there. But anyways, that's not a huge concern right now. Main thing is, let's get this cab off of here, and then I might try to work on wiring today. And I'm not looking forward to that at all, but it'd sure be nice to have it done. So I'm gonna get the rest of the bolts pulled out of the cab and get rigged up to pull the jib crane over here and lift this off. Can't imagine that my lifting apparatus is gonna be heavy enough. It's like a 6-inch I-beam, but it's what I got. And, you know, hold the chains out away from the cab a little. So let's see if it'll peg. Always one. end. Oh yeah, you can kind of see me over there, but it's not that heavy. Well, it's more than one guy wants, and believe it or not, I've put it on and off there a couple times by myself, and this was damn sure the smoothest. But if there's any of you guys that know anything about fiberglass, I want to reseal this lid. I would say it's in really good shape for as old as it is. I've got a few dings along the edge. Biggest one is probably up here. Right here is missing a piece. And then I got a crack right here through that bolt hole. But I kind of think that I need to go back in with some fiberglass fabric or something and build these edges up and get them together nice. Sand that down, and then what do I put on top of this? It's had moss growing on the outside for years and years, and me and my wife scraped most of that off. But I imagine I'll need to sand this before I put, what do they call that coating? Gel coat, maybe, on the outside of this. Let me know if you got any ideas. That's kind of the way I'm leaning right now, though. So, cool. We got that off of there. Something else I got going is for Christmas, I got a new rear bumper for it. I'm getting it painted up. It's going to be this cream colored. I was going to do black, but it kind of had white wheels and white bumpers on it a long time ago, so I'm going to do close to that. But I need the rear bumper because that's where the body mounts, back here. Get the bumper bolted on, and then there's a little basically hockey puck that goes in there that it mounts to. So I need to get it on. I need to run some wires to my tail lights. Gotta remember, always kind of starting fresh. That's a sending unit wire there, so that ain't too bad. I put a new sending unit in it already. I actually put this bar in there because that's what the bumper is, where the tank strap usually bolt to, so I'll have to put the jack underneath there and put the bumper on. And then after searching eBay for years and years, I finally came up with the right T-handle for the parking brake. And I think I got the right cable now after trying 3 different ones, but it bolts in right here. So maybe we'll get the parking brake done. It's just kind of nice being able to check things off the list. So I got the main harness, ran through the firewall right there, put a grommet in, ran down, hooked up to the blinker or the dimmer switch. It's plugged in to the rear harness. Horn wires plugged in. There's a junction block right here that hooks the headlight wires together. These are horn. This is a blinker wire. I got a new one of these junction blocks ordered. I think I'm gonna order new turn signal lights because this is mine and they're cool because they're all original, but the wiring in them is pretty beat up. So I think I'm gonna order a couple new ones of those. Looking at seats, trying to decide which seats I'm gonna order. I'm thinking the low back ones, just so I can reach around and grab stuff out of the back sitting in the seat. I'm gonna order new front bumper. But right now, this is the old starter. And it actually used to have a lever that you'd stomp on, and that's how you started it. Well, I don't really care for that, especially with modern day ones and solenoids. I didn't want that other hole going through the floor, so I actually welded it up a while back, but I need to pull that starter and count the teeth on it, and probably count the teeth on the ring gear to determine which one I need in there. There's like 5 different choices, but I think I will try to get the wires ran over here first to make sure I have all that in this wiring kit I got laid out. And I did get my T-handle bolted in. I'm missing a clip that holds the cable housing onto here. Get one of those ordered. I don't have the bottom side hooked up yet, but just kind of moving on down the line. I got all these wires jammed through there that need to get hooked up to the back of the speedometer and gauge cluster. I got a new headlight switch I need to put in right there. But that's the plan, just keep moving along. I did get a new turn signal switch, and it is really cheap piece of crap. I think it was an Amazon special. I don't even think I'm gonna put that in. I'm not impressed with it. I think it's gonna break about instantly. Little tiny wires on it, so probably order a better one of those. But got a couple coats of paint on my rear bumper here. It's turning out nice. So just keep plugging away. But I did get the e-brake cable hooked up underneath. Still need the clip for here. Pulled the starter. It's a 9-tooth. Bolt holes are almost 4.5 inches apart. I think I got enough information to order a new one. I got these wires here. Ran through the firewall. They go to starter solenoid, points, and alternator. I have to figure out how the old generator had one for 12 volts and then one to the armature. So I need to figure out how to hook that up to that GM alternator. I believe this is what they call one wire, but it does have those other posts down there. I don't know if you have to excite them or not. So need to get that hooked up. But we've got a birthday party to go to tonight. I didn't get my bumper on. I've got another coat of paint on it, but of course, it's bubbling the primer up right here in the middle of it, nowhere else. I tried sanding it down once and it just bubbles more. So I'm kind of wondering if I need to sand it down and then get some primer on that spot and then try painting it again. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but something is not happy there. So I guess call it a day, go in and order a bunch of parts. I'm getting really close. Good morning, everybody. It's a new day on the Jeep. I'll show you where I'm at. I got a little bit of this stuff tidied up here on top of the engine, coil wire hooked up, wires ran for where the new starter's gonna go. One wire hooked up to the alternator. I need to do some more research on that, but that red one's supposed to go to positive power or battery power, and it does. It loops around and comes back here to the starter. This one was supposed to go to the field on the generator. I've got an F on the back of this alternator, so I think that it probably needs to plug in there, but not for sure. Pulled the gauge cluster out, and then I did get my paint fixed up on the rear bumper. You can see a little bit of a spot there, but it's at least not bubbling up the way it was before. So I think I can give that another coat and it'll probably be good enough. But then this kind of spiraled out of control. I got the gauge cluster out of there, and you know, the paint and everything was messed up on the firewall backside of it, so I needed to do something with that. Well, I had done the whole underneath of this tub with Flex Seal, and whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't know. I thought it'd be a fairly good undercoating, and you can keep adding more to it if you need to. So that's what I did the inside of this tub with. You're probably wondering, like, well, why didn't you go all the way to the back? Well, I had one can and I ended up running into town and buying the last 3 that they had, so that's why. I will do this whole tub. There's a chance that I might end up cutting these out for the seats, but I was looking at that some more last night, and I don't know if it's worth it. So I'm gonna order some seats and get them set in here on some blocks of wood or something and decide if that's actually what I need to do. Hopefully I don't, because then I just build some mounts over here to set the seats on and just roll on. So I guess I need to go inside and probably eat some lunch, wait for this to dry for a while. I've got one more can of Flex Seal, so I think I will use it to give this a second coat here after about an hour or so, and that might stop the Jeep progress for today. I can probably clean the rest of this stuff out of the back, but other than that, that's about what I've got. I need a bunch more parts to keep rolling. I guess maybe I'll try to put the rear bumper on after lunch. That might be a good idea. So just moving right along. So how'd I turn out? Pretty good, I would say. I've got a couple coats on the Flex Seal on the floor. Pulled all my masking tape off. I think it turned out all right, man. You can really see the dents in it now that it's black, or the way it warped from welding it in. I got the bumper put on the back end. First initial thoughts are I am having a really hard time getting to the nuts under here for these body mounts. I got 2 more to put in out at either end here. These ones will be all right. I can get to them easy, but I cannot get my fingers up in there to get to the back side of those. This being a DJ, fuel tank is at the back of the Jeep, so it's right in the way. I guess I could drop the tank out and put the bolts in, but the other thought I have is, look at all the dirty fingerprints on this cream color already. I don't know if that's what I want on here. It just doesn't seem like it quite fits. So I think I'm gonna pull it off, paint it black, and then put it back on. Probably cut some grooves in the bottom or some holes in the bottom here so I can get to those body mount nuts. You can see how it looks like it's hanging out here and not lined up over here. I was like, man, did I buy the wrong bumper? Well, I don't really know what kind of bumper the DJ had on the back end, but I got to looking that up, and that's been a question for a lot of people. And turns out they actually left it short on this side because the exhaust would exit right here. So that's the way it's supposed to be built. This being a DJ and that fuel tank's right there, my exhaust just dumps underneath. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But so I'm not going to send it back and get a different one. This will be fine. I mostly just needed it to hold the body up on the back end. But like I say, I think I'm going to pull that off of there and paint it black. But other things that I can do right now is I have all these holes down through here where the body, the cab, bolts to. See them right there. I think I will go ahead and drill these out a little bit and put nut zerts in there. They're just kind of almost like a rivet that you use this tool here for. Drill the hole a little oversized. It smashes them into the sheet metal. Then you got threads. So I think I'm gonna put them in there for bolting down the body. I might also do that on all of these guys, going back through here. And that'll probably be about enough for today. But been kind of exciting getting to work on the Jeep. Haven't got to do that for a long time.